So we're at the Another Level Studios, you know what I mean? We're going to break down some fights. My man knows a lot about fighting.
We can start off. Introduce yourself.
Ryan Ventura, lowkick.com, rabbit-punch.net. I guess you could say I'm a renegade mixed martial arts journalist, but I also like boxing, I like kickboxing, and obviously I'm a big hip-hop head and a man of good taste and style too.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking.
How long you been doing this?
Believe it or not, I've been actually writing since October of 2010. I mean, I'm just a nerd. I like to watch a lot of fights. This guy knows very well, right? Everything. I'm telling you, mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing. I got you.
Let's get down to it. What's happening this weekend? First of all, what's going down?
The royal wedding.
Yeah, exactly. Knock that shit out.
So who's fighting? Who's fighting this weekend?
3 big fights. UFC 129, we got Georges St. Pierre taking on Jake Shields for the welterweight championship of the world. We also have Jose Aldo taking on Mark Hominik, Canada's own, for the featherweight title of the world. And we have another big bout, Randy Couture versus Leona Machida. It could be Randy Couture's last bout. Georges St. Pierre versus Jake Shields. Interesting fight. Stylistically on paper, it might not be the most exciting fight because both men are relatively known for holding their opponent down and controlling them there. But I think this fight's going to be a little different. Jake Shields, he's not much of a striker. He doesn't like to punch much. He doesn't like to kick much. But Georges St. Pierre, before he became the world champion, he was best known for his striking, his spinning back kicks, and, you know, his very respectable boxing. He trains with Freddie Roach.
Oh, his jab was nasty last fight.
Yeah, man.
Cross check's face and he busted his orbital bone.
Jake Shields, he's not the best striker. He has Nick Diaz in his camp. He trains Muay Thai at the Fairtex gym in San Francisco. But GSP, you know, he started out as a striker before he started doing wrestling and jiu-jitsu. So the way I see it, if the fight goes to the ground, I think Jake Shields has an advantage because that's his domain. He likes to wrestle. He likes to do jiu-jitsu. He likes to tap people out. That's where he belongs. Where GSP, we've seen him out wrestle dudes, but against Jake Shields, you gotta go back to what you became known for. You know, you gotta strike it out. You gotta throw that jab like you did against Koscheck and throw those kicks.
Real quickly, I'm gonna ask this. I've seen a couple things in the lead up to the fight, and it seems like GSP seems to pride himself sometimes beating fighters on their strength and at their game. And I just have this weird feeling it's like GSP's almost taking the challenge. Can he beat Shields on the ground?
Honestly, I ain't seen nobody do shit against GSP on the ground. I ain't seen it yet.
Jake Shields is like another animal
hasn't
altogether.
Lost in 7 years, is that true? How long has it been?
He hasn't lost in 6 years, 15 straight fights. And he's beat the likes of a guy named, you guys know who Dan Henderson is? Dan Henderson?
Dan
Henderson's my dude, man.
Yeah, Dan Henderson's a bad man. He got a
crazy
crazy right hand.
For that?
Yeah, he got a mad right hand. And he's also an Olympic
fighter.
He's also
good wrestler, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's also an Olympic caliber wrestler. And Jake Shields wrestle humped him for 5 rounds.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
And Jake Shields.
Henderson's a big boy too.
Yeah.
I think George is just, he's too focused right now. I don't know.
He's a beast.
You know what I mean? And I'm not like the biggest GSP fan because I want Silver to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But he's Canadian and he represents.
He's top, man.
He is top,
he's
but
elite.
If you want me to tell you who I think's gonna win,
Who do you think's gonna win?
To be honest with you, Georges St. Pierre is the more well-rounded guy. He can, if he can't beat you on the ground, he'll most definitely beat you on the feet. So I'd actually predict perhaps maybe even 3rd round TKO against Jake Shields.
And you think it's gonna come what, on the hands, feet? You think it's gonna be stand up?
It's gonna like he's gonna do his best to keep it standing, and he's gonna beat him with his boxing. That's what you get, man. If you got Freddie Roach in your corner, it doesn't matter if you're Manny Pacquiao or Georges St. Pierre, you will win. St. Pierre trains under the Greg Jackson camp. They also train John Jones as well.
So he got some firepower.
That's gonna be a great fight. I'm excited for that one. This weekend's gonna be that's gonna be crazy. So as much as I like to think of GSP as the machine, there's actually the machine, Mark Hominik, fighting. So Mark Hominik, Jose Aldo. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
All right, Jose Aldo, he's a bad man as well. A lot of people haven't seen it, or a lot of people don't even know that he's actually a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He specializes on the ground, but for some reason he's been schooling dudes with his kickboxing. You know, I don't know if you guys saw the fight against Uriah Faber. Jose Aldo just to put it elegantly, he kicked the shit out of Uriah Faber's legs, right? Uriah Faber had no answers for that. Whereas against Mark Hominik has actually fought at the highest level of kickboxing in Japan.
I think that's the fight of the night.
Right? I agree. It could be fight of the night. Mark Hominik is no man that's going to let you kick him in the legs that many times, you know?
Not Rampage.
Yeah, exactly. He knows how to check his kicks. This is just like the GSP Shields fight. If the fight goes to the ground, I believe Jose Aldo has the advantage. If the fight stays on the feet, Mark Hominik could possibly knock out Jose Aldo.
Bottom line, what are you saying on this one?
I'm gonna go with the Canadian boy. I'm gonna say Mark Hominik, second round
TKO.
TKO.
Hey, I'm gonna be pulling for Hominik, but I watched Aldo. I don't know.
No, I know Jose Aldo's a bad man, and I'm a big fan too. Like, I watch a lot of his fights, and I like his style. Actually, to prepare, Jose Aldo flew to Holland, home of the best kickboxers in the world. He trained with a guy named Andy Sauer. Andy Sauer is they call him the complete technician, right? So like everything is crisp. His knees, his kicks, his boxing. You know, he's world class. So that could be a difference maker. But I believe Hominik, he's been training since he was a teenager. He has the advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then.
He is a machine.
Yeah, he's a machine for a reason, you know.
Man versus machine. Let's see that one.
Found out the top 3 fights of the night. Obviously, we got that Couture versus Lyoto Machida. Another interesting fight. I mean, to me, Couture is almost like the Bernard Hopkins of MMA.
No, you hit the nail on the head. He is like the Bernard Hopkins of MMA.
Yeah. OG. What are you gonna say about that? 48 years old or whatever. I don't know how old.
He's 47. If Couture can close the distance. Like, in my opinion, he can't outstrike Lyoto Machida. He's no Shogun Hua, right? We saw what Shogun did to Machida. Shogun schooled Lyoto Machida in the first fight and the second fight. The only way for Couture to beat Machida is if he gets in close, uses his dirty boxing, dirty boxing, and keep him against the fence, where Machida doesn't want to be. But if Couture can't close the distance, Machida stays mid-range because he's a karate guy. He likes to fight. He doesn't like to fight too close.
Dirty the angles he comes at sometimes.
Couture could be in danger. I mean, Machida, he's fought against Sugar Rashad Evans, and you know we saw
that was a dirty fight. Like that
was nasty. Like Machida just laid out Sugar. Sugar had like this face. It's priceless. You can look for it. Look on Google. Rashad Evans knockout. This is his face. He's like, there's the face right there.
And his knee?
Yeah, his knee. You know Rampage? Yeah, Rampage called him Stanky Leg. Not a very pretty face.
No.
That's nasty. That's just nasty.
Wow,
that's really bad.
That shows you, man. If you get too close to Lyoto Machida, he's a threat. Don't sleep on Lyoto Machida. He may be boring if he fights against a guy who fights similar to him, or a guy who's too afraid to engage. But if he fights against a guy who's offensive and wants to go forward, he knows how to counter.
Openings,
yeah, he's a very good counter fighter.
He's smart. He's a smart striker.
Yeah, very smart. How do you see this one going?
I think, in my opinion, if Machida was to, hypothetically speaking, get taken to the ground, he's very good at jiu-jitsu as well. I think Machida could win this by decision.
In some ways, to me, Machida should be expected to win this fight. If Machida somehow loses this fight, what does that do to him in the light heavyweight division all of a sudden?
Because he's lost 3 in a row.
Yeah,
his job's in danger. I mean, he might get demoted to Strikeforce. Strikeforce recently got bought out by the UFC, by the Zuffa group. He might actually have to go down there.
Hey, first of all, I'd like to say, obviously representing E-Town, we got Jason McDonald fighting on the card. That's just an E-Town shout out.
Word. He's fighting veteran Ryan Jensen. Should be a good fight.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched when he used to be on in Edmonton. What was that thing?
MFC?
Yeah.
Yo,
MFC. Yeah.
Well, you gotta.
Well, yeah, I used to bounce for the mascot.
Right on.
Yeah.
Man.
And then the guy Mark actually is from Windsor, so I was talking to him. He's like, I'm from Windsor. I was like, what?
You're talking about the boss, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark Pavlik's a good dude.
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool.
I've had a chance to interview him a while back on Radio TKO. Big shouts to Darcy. Mark Pavlich is he doesn't hold any punches. He says whatever he feels. Quite frankly, he doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. I've heard that he's a very good guy and he treats his fighters very well.
Yeah.
And since we're on E-Town, say real quickly, what do you think about big shout out to another E-Town real deal, Ryan Ford? What you think about that Ryan Ford versus Carl Parisian?
That's gonna be a tough fight for Ryan Ford. I mean, Carl Parisian, he's no joke. He fought at the highest level in the UFC, man.
Yeah,
that's a good test.
That's what I'm saying.
He's fought against the likes of GSP and stuff like that. Ryan Ford is gonna have his hands full against Carl Parisian, but you know,
to get that,
I think Ryan Ford could use this to his advantage. All the best to Ryan Ford. Big ups to you, man.
Yeah, G'd up, buddy.
And who else? Nate Diaz.
Oh, that's a good fight. It's actually on the prelim card. Nate Diaz versus hometown boy Rory McDonald. Rory McDonald, he's from BC. He's a young cat, guys. Like he's only 21. He's only 21 years old. And he's fighting at the highest level.
Shit, man. I think about the fuck I was doing when I was 21.
Well, apparently Rory, he's been training in mixed martial arts since he was 12, 13 years old. So this is nothing to him, you know.
Yeah.
But he's fighting a very tough Nate Diaz from the Cesar Gracie camp in Stockton, California. Nate Diaz, he's almost like a carbon copy of his older brother. He's very dangerous on the ground. Like if it goes to the ground, he'll tap you out.
He's got that long,
and he has that long, lanky reach too. So he uses that that unusual boxing style. So he throws punches from all angles and in big volumes. It's gonna be Rory's toughest test. But if Rory can beat Nate Diaz, like maybe you can put him in the top rank picture.
Really?
For sure, yeah.
Whoa.
Nate Diaz is a legit fighter. Like I mean, his record doesn't say it. But he's very legit. He's dangerous, man.
He likes that underneath triangle choke.
What's the leg
choke?
Oh yeah. The triangle choke was dope. You remember that triangle choke? He did the triangle choke.
Did he beat Gillard?
Yeah, he beat Gillard.
Yeah, he got a good fucking.
It's Melvin. I like Melvin, man.
Yeah, Melvin Gillard's a bad man too.
Yeah.
But like Nate Diaz, he had that triangle, and like he was so confident in his abilities, they let go. Like. He just went with his legs. He locked him with his legs. He stuck the middle fingers up while he was doing it. That was some bad shit.
Usually I don't like the cocky guys, but he was more like, just a homeboy. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'll fight anybody. Fuck it.
That's because like Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz, they're legit dudes. They're from the hood, man. Like Stockton, California is apparently one of the worst areas in the States. And like they grew up in the streets, and the reason why they trained martial arts was for self-defense. Right?
That's dope.
I watch like Badr Hari videos like on my spare time, and I'm like, fuck, I want to fight someone now.
Alright, so we're going to wrap it up. You got a lot of good knowledge. Where can we find you at? Where
you can find me covering the sport of mixed martial arts on lowkick.com. I also host a radio show there called Split Decision Radio, and we talk about the latest information on mixed martial arts and the latest events. If you want to know more than just MMA, I also love boxing and kickboxing. You can find me at rabbit-punch.net.
Rabbit-punch.net. Alright.
Y'all hear that? You got lowkick.com. Y'all got Split Decision for the radio show. You got rabbit-punch.net. Alright? That's where you need to check my man at for all the insider info, boxing, MMA, kickboxing, all that shit's do it, bitch.
If you guys get the chance, go on YouTube, look up a guy named Nick Diaz.
Oh, yeah.
I like Nick Diaz.
That dude's a bad.
You watched that fight, the last Nick Diaz fight?
Paul Daly? That was.
And he opened up a can of whoop ass on that tee. You know what I'm saying?
Big shout outs to Knox Gear in San Francisco. They're one of my sponsors.
That's
they
dope.
hook me up with a lot of shit. They're good people. Big shout outs to Damon, Alan. They're good people. Also, don't forget, check out Young, Rich, and Beautiful. I haven't forgotten. YBL. They got some ill shit.
Thank you.
Mr. Day, thank you for the fade.
Oh, hey.
That's what's good.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Daynwhyte
Enjoy the
show.
fight, so tomorrow UFC 129. Yeah.